nurses of Karl Memorial Hospital Authority, a happy Nurses Week. It is indeed another joyous occasion to celebrate the most brilliant of young minds in our country in health, role models, educators, advocates for health. I came, I cared, I charted. I'm sure this is something that every nurse has as a mantra of their daily activity, and it is one of the most noble professions to be celebrated. On behalf of the management, the Board of Governors, and for all the Belizean population that is served by our lovely nurses, I wish first to congratulate you for the excellent work that you do and continue to do, and to thank you for all the times and energies that you spend and being the angels that you are. Thank you.
And welcome back, and there you had it. The introduction for our Nurses Week conversation.
And joining us for this conversation are nurses from the KHMH to talk to us about what they have planned for this week, what's been going on. We have Miss Kereen Birch, we also have Nurse Casilda Bowman, and we have Nurse Neroli Williams. Thank you for joining us, ladies. Thank you for being here. And I know this must be an exciting week. Things are happening. I know I saw, my sister took a picture at the hospital yesterday of the banner that they have outside. It looks great. So tell us about the activities that have already taken place so far.
Monday we had our church service.
Yeah.
And then we start off the week with the church service in the chapel at Karl Heusäer, because we have a chapel at the hospital.
Yeah.
Then we continue with awards, the recognized staff for the and long service. Then we had brunch, all provided by the hospital. Yesterday we were pampered with pedicures and manicures and massages.
Oh, wow.
Facials.
Is this a room that's available at the KHMH that we don't know about?
No. It's a room that's transferred.
Special occasions.
Yeah, and then we had a motivational therapist. And then we're having cook-offs today.
Cook-offs?
Yes.
The nurses are cooking?
Yes.
Because we have a diverse culture, so we, promote everybody's culture and their food.
Yeah.
Tomorrow
we have a variety show. We have a variety show where we have different people from different wards come together. They unite and entertain us.
Okay.
That should be good.
And then Friday?
On Friday, which is Nurses Day internationally, we'll be having, the Nurses Association will be having a conference in Orange Walk where nurses from all over the country will go. And it's also T-shirt day for all nurses, so we get to go to work in our T-shirts.
I saw that on your face, because that was obviously something very exciting to break out
a little
uniform
change
for one
from
day.
the uniform.
Dress down day.
So we know that you guys are all managers. Kereen, you're a shift manager, and then you guys are managers in A&E and the NICU unit. I know that's probably really heavy. So what does this mean to be able to be celebrated as nurses in your capacity as managers, and as well as a nurse in general?
Well, it's an honor because we go to work every day. We don't really go for praise or honor. We go just to be ourselves and to help other people. And so to have an entire week dedicated to you just to say thank you, it's really an honor for us.
It serves as a motivation, we need encouragement as we go along. We need somebody to say, yes, you're doing a great job. We know it, but, and they try as much, our management try as much to appreciate us, but it's wonderful to have an entire week dedicated to us to show us that, you're doing hard, congrats. Keep on doing what you're doing, and we love it. I think all the staff really appreciate all that we have been pampered with for this week, and I think it's a lovely week. It's a great week.
I see the smiles on your faces. It's the after effects of those massages, right?
Definitely.
Tell me, okay, let's talk a bit about being at the KHMH. How many nurses do you have on staff at the KHMH?
We have approximately around 200
Wow.
nurses.
Yeah.
Nurses only.
Yeah.
All right. It's about over 500 in entire
In total,
staffing,
yeah,
but
yeah.
200 nurses. Yes.
Yeah. And that's quite a number of nurses, and I think, you know, I love being able to talk about this particular week because nursing is one of the professions that is so highly, it's so important, and until you have to interact with a nurse, that's when you realize how important it is.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about what made you first venture into this profession, especially in the medical field? Because some people, when they're interested in medicine, want to go straight to doctor. And there's some people I know who just knew from the beginning, I want to be a nurse. So tell us how you got into it, how long ago it's been, and what you love most. Let's start with you, Kereen.
How I got into it, it wasn't planned. But when I finally got into it after entering school in 1997, and when I went on my first practicum, I said, man, I wasted so much time. I should have been doing this a long time ago. And then just the joy that you feel from someone coming in crying and they would leave smiling and they would say thank you for what you've done for them. And then it gives you a sense of fulfillment that you're actually there helping people. And it helps you to become more comfortable with yourselves because then you start to interact with more people and you can do more without just being yourself, just wanting to do something for someone.
Yeah.
Nurse Bowman.
All right. So I mean, for me, it was I grew up in the health system in not being sick, but my mom is a cytotechnologist, so she had me around and she could not keep me away from people. And I just loved it. I mean, I love my job. I really do. And this the knowing that you can help somebody is a great feeling. Last night I had a really good experience. I got a Facebook message from a patient who, you know, I never thought would have remembered me because he came in a bad state. But I was there with him, and he texts me and say, I was looking for you all over and you did a great job. And that was such a good feeling to know that you actually impact somebody's life. And like I said, I just love nursing.
Yeah.
Well, I knew I wanted to be a nurse from like high school.
Oh.
I didn't have medical people around, so, like to, you know, to see what was done before. But I went to nursing school and I have no regrets from then till now.
Yeah.
I like helping people, you know. It's a good feeling to see somebody down and what you did could pick them up, and of course when they're all good and well, to come back and say thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, I work with the babies, the very premature babies, the very sick babies, and I have a wonderful staff. I can't complain. Everybody work together.
Yeah.
And when those parents come back, bring back the child to you and say, see your baby here, thank you very much. It's really nice.
Now, what's your favorite ward experience? Let's go there.
She's like, I don't know where
Yeah. She's like, where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, I love emergency. Love it from the first time.
You love emergency, all the blood, all the extreme
Yes, I'm
scenarios.
I'm probably an adrenaline junkie.
That would
Probably, but I really do love emergency. I mean, that's the first time I came into the hospital, I went and I told my matron, I need to go to emergency. I was placed in NICU, but you know, I grew to love it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I keep on reminding her, remember I want to go there? And I was finally placed there and I was the most happiest person ever. Yeah, so emergency, that does it for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I love NICU.
I love that, yeah.
It's a lot of attention because they can't say, hey, I'm not feeling well or my hand hurt.
Yeah.
You have to be there, very observant, you know, knowing what to look for, you know, knowing the signs of everything.
And it's so delicate. Isn't that
it
scary?
Well, it is in one way, but it's very rewarding because you have to do everything, and the teamwork is what makes it bloom, you know, because if I don't see something, somebody else sees it.
Yeah.
You know.
For me, well, Nikki was my first unit, but my favorite unit was the labor and delivery.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's just such a beautiful thing to see that that woman come in and then that child is born and the family seeing the child for the first time, and just the joy that you see on their face, and to know that you were able to help someone bring life into this world. It's just a joy to see, and to see how families come together. So that was my favorite thing.
Oh, you say that and I can imagine it. That is a beautiful moment. Now, tell me, and you guys can do it in your own words, but let's talk about what the role of a nurse is from your own experience and from your own professional ethics. Because people, and I've heard this, you know, when people say, oh, I don't want a nurse, I want the doctor, but it is the nurse's job to be able to go in and do something at that time. Talk to us about what the role is and why the role of a nurse is so important.
And some of the misconceptions as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, we're there for the patients 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right? We see what's happening. So we could relate to exactly what the patient is going through. Right? We inform the doctors, they do their assessment, they make their decision. And well, it's most of the time we communication is very important.
Yeah.
So we work along with the doctors. There are things that maybe you could do that not even need medication. For example, the patient have fever. The first thing is not to give Tylenol or give an injection to help the fever. You could, maybe they're too much clothing. Maybe they just need a bath or the fan, you know.
Try telling parents their baby have on too much clothes, no?
Probably.
Or their baby need a cold bath.
shower. You know, sometimes the position would alleviate their breathing difficulties or the pain, you know. So but a lot of people feel like, okay, the nurses go by what the doctor do an order and you have to follow it.
Right.
But it's a joint effort. You know, the nurses and the doctors work together.
It's a team.
And we provide the best care possible for the patients.
Nurses, we have a lot of jobs. Holistically, we go from skills-wise down to at least talking, relating, that human aspect, knowing that I'm there, that compassion, and sometimes just speaking to them helps. Sometimes just talking, touching them, they're like, how are you? That helps, and people tell you, just doing that made me feel a bit better. And so it's a very hard job because you have to be a lot of things in one. And so it does take a lot out of you being a nurse. People don't realize how much it takes. People think, oh, okay, you just have to do this, you give medication, and that. It can become toxic if you don't know how to cope well, because it takes so much for you to give so much to everybody. And, it's really hard to do. But when you love it, you do it joyfully. So.
Like my colleague said, it's not just about going in and giving medication or an injection. It's much more. You're a teacher. You're sometimes a mother. Sometimes you're a sister, because sometimes there are people that go in and they don't have family members, and they would say, nurse, can you sit with me until this happens or until that happens? Or some of them go in, you're a social worker. So you're a bit of everything.
I think what I love about the profession of nursing is that it has this element of humanity to it. The doctors come in and yes, they diagnose you, they tell you what's wrong, they tell you what they're gonna do, and then you come in as like an heir, a fellow human being to relate to that patient. And I think in so many ways that's a really important part of medical care, because you're sick, it's already overwhelming because your body's going through all these things, but mentally you need that person there, that professional there to guide you through that as well. So I think it's an honorable profession.
Honestly, sometimes you don't even realize the impact you've had on that person or on that family. Sometimes you're just going about your business on your day off, and someone would come to you and say, nurse, remember him, remember her? And sometimes you honestly don't remember them, but it's still a good thing to know that I made an impact on that person's life, and even today that person still remembers
you. Now, nursing doesn't come without its challenges. And one of the first things I'm going to ask you is how do you do it? I mean, the shifts, first of all, that you work on. And I love that you speak about caring for other people, because part of the hard part is leaving your own family that you should be caring for, and leaving them in somebody else's hand to go and care for other people. Tell us about that. I'm sure it's a challenge.
It is a challenge, and you have to work around, you have to have everybody prepared. Okay, you will be home 16 hours of the day, or at least 14, because you need to travel to work and back. So preparing the family, get them educated on what you do, you could call me, but if I don't answer the phone, it's because I'm busy, I'll call you back. So everybody have to be prepared and know that, what I'm doing is for us, it's not for me. And I'm not only taking care of me and my family, there are other people out there who needs my assistance as well.
For anybody else, I'm sure that's part of your management that you have to do with shift supervisor. And talk to us about the balance of it all.
Well, you have to do a lot of planning.
Yeah.
You have to plan at work, you have to plan at home, because we do get days off. Because there are people that believe that we work every day, but we do get days off. So one of the things that we try to do is to plan around our days off, so we can get certain things done at home. And the family becomes a part of the nursing, because then you help them to understand that, well, I'm going to be away for this period, but for this time I'll be there and we can do this. So they look forward to that. So it becomes like a team. And at work, it's the same thing. That I'm there for this period. So this is what we will be doing for this period, and you just try it. It's not. One of the things is you have to be a nurse. You have to want to do it. It's not just about, oh, I'm just going to work. So when you want to do something, it doesn't become tedious. Because it's something that you look forward to going in and do, and it comes easier too.
And I'm really glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to ask you guys, what would you say to encourage younger people who not really. They would want to be a nurse. They see it as a profession that they could get into, but they aren't sure. What would be that extra motivation that you would say to them to encourage them to take on nursing? Because I think for a lot of people, especially people born in millennials, they want to know that they can grow within their career. So like you guys, you started off as nurses and then you graduated, progressed in your own capacity. So what are some things that you would say to encourage people to join the profession?
The first thing, they have to want to do it, right? So I guess we would need to explain to them, this is what happens in nursing, this is what you do, and it's not just to get a paycheck ending of the month. So if you really like this, you will have some very good days and you will have some very bad days, and it's like everything else. And you care for the people who really needs you to care for them. They are dependent on what you do. We have to be the patient's advocate a lot of the times, because everybody sees things in a different light a lot of the times. So we have to make the best decision together for the benefit of the patient. So if we would explain to them some of the things that we do in nursing, and if they really like it, then
and know what they're getting themselves into. And what the expectations are. My question has to do with just being a nurse in Belize. We know that there are still people interested in nursing. It's still offered at the university. It hasn't been as large an interest as it used to be, and not always for the right reasons. But also, there is still not as heavy recruitment as before, but there still is recruitment from other countries to get nurses to leave. Very sure you all have heard of the opportunity, perhaps been offered the opportunity. What keeps you dedicated to being here at the country's tertiary level institution, and committed to what you do there?
For me, I love my country. I love Karl. I mean, I went to the States, I visited hospitals. Nothing they have intrigues me. The money is okay, but I don't do it for the money. You understand? The amount of money cannot pay me what I would want. You understand? I love it, and my thing is that if every good nurse leaves, what will we have left? You understand? So we need to have nurses who are dedicated, who love what they're doing, and for me, I love it. and I would not trade it for anything. So there's nothing that can get me there to leave.
Anybody else?
Well, like she said, a lot of people that do leave are financially motivated.
Okay.
So that's one of the issues we have. But to be not financially motivated, you just want to be there and work for Belize. I have also had opportunity to visit other countries, and people would say, oh, I am making this, and I would say, I could go and make that, but to me, it's not as fulfilling. It's much more fulfilling to be here in Belize. I feel like I can do more. It doesn't matter how much money I can go and make. I can do more for the people here, and we have everything that they have there.
Yeah,
so
especially the health conditions and challenges.
I choose to stay in Belize as well.
Yeah.
We have opportunities to go out. I visited hospitals abroad from, besides Belize. I love Karl. It's the best hospital in Belize.
Yeah.
We have the most services.
Yeah.
I like country and the people, and I'm satisfied. So why should I go outside? I'm around everybody, my family, everybody.
Yeah.
And as it is, we're a diverse culture, and our team is meeting the sustainable developmental goals. And it's from the 8 Millennium Goals now transformed to the developmental goals with the 169 targets. So it's worldwide. We should be aiming at the same thing. So the same thing we're expected to do here, we expected to do somewhere else.
All right. And anything else you'd like to say to your fellow nurses or just to the general public about nursing and celebrating Nurses Week?
I have to say thanks to Karl and thanks to Channel 5 for giving us this opportunity. Karl, they're recognizing us for what we do, and it's a great feeling. My team at NICU, they have been a very good team, very supportive and caring. And I must say thank you and keep up the good job.
Okay.
Well, I always tell people when they ask me where I work, I would first say, without saying the name, I work at the best hospital in the country, which is Karl. And I just want to say thanks to them, thanks to you for having us, and thanks to the Belizean people for allowing us to be there for them.
So I have two things.
Okay. She's used to triage already, right?
So I wanted to thank the International Rotary Club because we had an opportunity to go to Louisiana, the vocational training team. The Rotary Club in Belize and Louisiana partnership, and they allowed us to have an experience over there, and I wanted to thank them for that. I want to thank my staff, my emergency department staff. They are the best teams that I know. I mean, I have great doctors, great nurses, so I have a wonderful team. So thank you guys, emergency. Big up yourself. Love always, guys. Have a happy nursing week. And I have to thank my CEO, my managers, my matrons. They are wonderful. They support us. There's a lot of things that we cannot do without them. And so we have to give them their props as well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for coming in and taking a break from your very busy schedule to share with us what it's like to be a nurse. And we wish you the best during the rest of your Nurses Week, right?
Thank you.
All right. We're going to go ahead now and take our final break. And when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.